All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? All right. Good evening, everyone. If you can hear or see me, just say something in the chat section.
You can also stop your cam here. You can see that you can have a little avatar picture. You can edit that avatar. You can upload a photo if you want to. But for us, we're going to leave the cam on here. And then you can also adjust your settings before you enter a live stream, which is really important. So if you click on the little settings we
Yeah, all right, all right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Clear Your Doubts. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Clear Your Doubts. So, this is Clear Your Doubts. It's nothing like the regular people trying to let you know you can do this, you can do that. No, this is a place where this is not a motivational um, program, right? It's not a motivational program. This is something that is going to push you from where you are to a place where you'll be comfortable, like you'll be comfortable to achieve your goals, do stuff that you'd all right. So how are you doing, Timilane? If you can hear me, Timilane, just type in the chat box. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing, Timilane? All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Clear Your Doubts. So if you can hear me, just type in the chat box. I can hear you, and we'll just get going. Welcome, Boye. All right. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're just going to go real fast. So we're going to go real fast. I'm just trying to delay to wait for some persons to join. Right? I'm just trying to delay to wait for some persons to join, and we'll kick off in like latest 3 minutes from now. We'll just keep going. So 3 minutes from now, we just keep going. So, like I was saying, clear your doubts is not the regular aspire to aspire to manguire and acquire. So that's not what clear your doubts is. Clear your doubts is me coming to tell you things that would help you achieve the thing that has been on your mind for a very long time. So I was speaking with a friend of mine, and we came to a conclusion that people don't know how to push the start button. So they find it difficult. They have a lot of ideas, they have a lot of goals they want to achieve, but they find it difficult to get those things started. And we established a couple of things that happened or that happens that made it that makes it impossible for them to push that start button. And that's what this clear that's going to be. This event is going to happen every Friday, right? And for clear that we're going to have lots of guests. Now, I already have somebody I'm going to bring 2 weeks from now. He has been a janitor for the past 7 or 8 years, if I'm not mistaken. And guess what? He runs a 6 to 7 figure monthly business right now. So imagine somebody earning 15K a month somewhere, and while he was still there, was able to build a business that makes him nothing less than 6 to 7 figures every single month. Now, I get there are a couple of people that are students. There are lots of people that still do the 9 to 5 kind of thing, and they have ideas, they have dreams, they have business plans, and all of those things they want to execute, but they don't know how to start. Most of them, it's not really because they can't do it, right? It's not even because there's a job that they have to attend to that's from 9 to 5. That's the reason why they are not doing what they are supposed to do, right? It's because they feel they can't do it. It's because they don't know how to go about doing it, and that's what this clear or that section is going to be. So this clear or that section is going to help you with every single thing, right? That has to do with starting a business, running the business, scaling the business, right? Every single thing that has to do with that. So don't see clear of that as aspire to transpire to manguire. No, you're not manguiring anywhere. We are here to help you start your ideas. Make sense? So if you can hear me, say I can hear you. Once I get 3, I can hear you. We're moving into the slides, and we should be done in the next 40 minutes. So I can hear you, I can hear you, I can hear you. If you can hear me, type in the chat box, you can hear me, and that's it. All right, so if you can hear me, I wanted to say I can hear you in the chat box, and then we just move from there. All right, let's go. Now, doubt. Today we're going to talk about doubt, but do not forget, this is not a motivational class. This is not a place where you just hear, do this, do this, do this. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. No, this is a place where I'm going to tell you you can do it, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. So now for today, we'll be talking about doubts, right? For today, we'll be clearing doubts. So let's clear some doubts. Ready? Now, let's clear some doubts. So, all right. So let's go. What is doubt? So let's start from this. What is doubt? Now, the Google definition of doubt is, right? Doubt is a feeling of uncertainty or a lack of conviction. So doubt is when you're not certain. That's the feeling you get when you're not certain, like when you lack conviction, right? And I wrote here that doubt, especially self-doubt, can be tricky at times. And here's why. You're hitting yourself hard for something you're not sure, right? If you're just for something you're not sure if you're right or wrong about yet. So you're hitting yourself hard for something you're not sure you are correct or wrong about. And that feeling, right, kills faster than poison. Right? Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been depressed? That is, when you feel like giving up, like the depression is so thick that you're like, I'm giving up, right? Have you ever been depressed that you feel like giving up, right? Have you ever been depressed that you feel like giving up, and then all of a sudden you're back into the world, you're so happy, jumping up and down. Can you tell me why you didn't drink that poison? Of course, you don't have to type in the chat box, but now let me guess. You stop thinking about you stop thinking about all the bad things that could happen, right? You stop thinking about why you should drink the poison, why you should just exit the world and probably go meet somebody. I remember when my mom was sick, right? And I was like, I want to I want to just leave this whole earth. But then I was like, chill guy, are you sure this is what you really want? And then I just figured out that's not what my mom would want. My mom wouldn't want to hear that Tim is dead, right? So that same feeling is equivalent to doubting, right? It's equivalent to doubting. So when you're in doubt, right, you're not putting a lot of things in place. You're not thinking straight, right? I wrote here that doubt appears when we are uncertain and we let our mind tell us lies, right? We let our mind tell us lies which we begin to believe, right? So when you're in doubt, you have to understand that it's your mind trying to fabricate stories. It's your mind trying to cook up stories and putting you in the negative part. That's like saying that this story, oh, it is me that is the person. That's I'm the me. When we're young, when they say actor no they die, right? You have to understand that in the story of your life, you, my friend, are the actor that does not die. But here's where the problem is with doubt. Doubt steps in and paints a story of you as the only person that must die in the movie. And that's where the problem is. So the mind believes what you tell it. So you can tell it what you want it to believe or see. The mind believes what you tell it. So you can tell it what you want it to believe or see. Make sense? So, um, right? So now, doubt is not based on evidence, right? Like I said before, doubt writes the story, right? That's right, the end of the story, and it places you in the negative part of it. So that means like doubt is when you sit down and you imagine something happening, and there's no point where you're seeing yourself victorious. Whenever things like that happen, you are definitely going to be depressed. There's no way, there's no two ways about it, right? There's no two ways about it. So doubt has no idea what's to come. It's only suggesting, right? And we both know suggesting in an exam hall leads to failure. Have you ever been in an exam hall where where you're just guessing? So you're in that exam hall and you're just good evening, Pastor King. Welcome, sir. So have you ever been in an exam hall where you're guessing and you'll be like tomorrow bass calabash? So you're just like number one should be A, number two should be B, number three should be C, and all that. What happened at the end of the day? Most of the times you get to fail those courses, and that's how doubt is. Doubt is guessing. Doubt gets to play a story. Doubt gets to tell you your story and puts you at the at at the bottom. Doubt does not. You are the actor, right? Right? You are the actor that does not die. You're supposed to be the actor that does not die, but doubt does not put you in that position. Doubt puts you in that place without evidence. Doubt puts you in that place where you automatically feel that you are definitely going to die. So doubt does not have evidence, and kills doubt. Doubt does not have evidence, so doubt has no idea of what is to come. It's only suggesting, and we both know what suggesting does in the hall, like in an exam hall. Doubt suggesting in an exam hall actually leads to failure. So killing doubt isn't difficult as it looks, right? These classes will help you overcome every single time we meet. So some reasons why people doubt. One of them is they care a lot about what people will say. When I started posting stuff on my status, that was like 2019. When I started posting stuff on my status, I started feeling, what will people say, right? And then I had a friend, like Joseph has always been my friend. I've known Joseph Don for like 7 years now. We've been friends since 2016. And it was looking like I was trying to copy Joseph Don. If you follow my status very well, you see where I said something that you don't you don't have to start from scratch, right? There's no harm in copying what works. There's no harm in copying what works. So at that time when I started posting on my status, I was always feeling like, what will people say? And funny enough, people had a lot of things to say. People had a lot of things to say. I remember people telling me, what are you doing? You're supposed to be a designer. What are you doing? It's not going to work. What are you doing? So when they finished talking, right, I listened to them, and it started affecting the way I was posting on my status. So every single time you listen to what people say, right, you're going to doubt yourself. So here are some, these are, I'm talking about reasons why people doubt themselves. So people will always have something. So people will always have something to talk about. But you can always counter that by taking lots of actions. So the more action you take, the more they see, right? The less they talk. People will talk, negative or positive. If you make it, people will talk. If you fail, people will talk. So the only way to make it is to actually continue what you're doing, is to take action. When I started posting on my status, that was what happened. I continued and then I started seeing results. If I had stopped because of what people were saying, there are so many results I won't say. A typical example is this clear or that. When I started this clear or that, right? The first day we did clear or that, there was a lot of ups and downs. I think we were just two in the class that first time. But I didn't stop. I continued. So there was somebody that came to my DM and the person was like, imagine pushing this class and only two people attended. What a shame. But I didn't listen. What I used to console myself was there's always going to be a recording. And then I gave out the recording to people. And today we had lots of testimony. So part of the reasons why people doubt themselves is because they listen to they always listen to what people say. Now they fear they are not good enough. This is one of the things that have helped me. This is one of the things that have helped me. People always feel they are not good enough. But I want you to think of this thing in three. I want you to think of three people in life. The first group of people are people you are better than. The second group of people is people that are your peers. The third group of people are those that are better than you. In life, there will always be somebody you're better than. There will always be somebody that you're the same level with. And there will always be somebody that is better than you. That's how life is. So when you are scared or worried that there are people that you are not good enough, I want you to think of the person that you are better than. Even if you start doing something today, there will be somebody that will start tomorrow. That means you are 24 hours ahead of somebody that would need the information that you'd have gathered in 24 hours to move to the next level. So stop feeling, right? Stop condemning yourself. Like I said, doubt comes as a result of hitting too hard on yourself. Stop hitting too hard on yourself because you feel you are not good enough. Bro, there would always be somebody that you are better than. So let's say you started learning how to sew and it was just yesterday and somebody else starts sewing today. You are automatically 24 hours earlier, 24 hours better than that person. So don't ever feel that you are not enough. This thing also brings procrastination because people start saying, I want to learn this, I want to learn that before I start. Listen, there would always be somebody better than you. So, second reasons why people doubt themselves is that they feel they are not good enough. The third reason is they allow their past mistakes, right, to rule over them. Listen, man, forgive yourself. You're not the only one that has made mistakes in life. There are lots of people that have made the same mistake that you're making right now, the same mistake that is keeping you on the ground. But the difference between you and them that are succeeding is that they did not stay in that state. They moved. Look, actions will always cancel errors. Actions will always cancel errors. Let me give you a typical example. My name is Timothy, right? And I don't know you. Think of it this way. Is it by magic or by revelation that I will know what happened to you 2 years ago? How would I know the mistakes that you made yesterday? Do you know, even if you tell me, you can decide to tell me some parts and skip some. That is to tell you that your past is your past. The mistake that you've made is gone forever. Let it be. Let it be. Except you open your mouth to tell somebody how bad, how terrible something, how terrible your yesterday is. The person would never know. That's to tell you that you would always meet new people. And the people that will make you the money that you want to make are strangers that would never know how bad your yesterday is. So leave your past behind. Of course, you should learn from it. Of course, you should pick some things and move, but let it go. Like, let it go. A lot of people don't forgive themselves, and that's why they are depressed. That's why they doubt themselves. Let your past go. Here, if you feel, oh, sin, it was too difficult, it was this. Listen, the people that you met today, the people that you know today, right, are going to be added to tomorrow. The people that will meet you tomorrow don't know you from Adam. The lie, see, you can choose to tell them lies. You can decide to tell somebody, right? You can decide to package, look very clean, and tell somebody that you own an estate, right? You own 400 acres of land with bamboo real estate, and they will believe you. Why? Because they don't know you from Adam. So your past is your past. The people that you're going to meet tomorrow would not know except you tell them. So you yourself, seeing that people that are going to meet you tomorrow wouldn't know, you yourself have to forgive yourself and let your past go. Forgive yourself. You're not the only one that has made the type of mistake that you currently make, that you made rather. So you're not the only one that has made that type of mistake. Mistakes are a part of our learning process. And even between those that are successful today is that they didn't drown in their regrets, pain, tears, condemnation. They learned their lessons, made amends, and moved on quickly. Rise, right? You still have time. The third reason why people doubt themselves is they are always busy comparing themselves with every other person. Let me give you an instance. Let's say back then in secondary school, when we're in secondary school and community service, right? They tell you, community service, they tell you, please, if you can hear me, say I can hear you. Let me be sure that I can hear you. So if you can hear me, let me know. If you can hear me, let me know. If you can hear me, let me know. So the third reason why people doubt themselves is they are busy competing with every other person. So I was talking about community service, right? When the service officer tells you this is your portion of land to cut, and then your friend is by your right hand side, this is his own portion of land to cut. So that guy, this is your portion of land to cut. Now tell me, if they give you guys 1 hour and you spend your 1 hour looking at how fast right is with the cutlass, how Sanusi is gisting, and somebody else is helping him cut his grass, would you, after 1 hour, be done with your own portion? Tell me in the chat box. If you are given equal lands to clear, right? And Sanusi is has paid somebody to do his while he's gisting, right? Adedino, right? He's brought his younger brother to join in. Kasali is using his 2 hands to cut, right? And you are just looking at them. At the end of 1 hour, would you be done? You wouldn't be done. People compare themselves, people watch others do the things, right, that matter, why they waste their own time. And that's why they doubt themselves. So competing with people that aren't going your route is a complete waste of time. Stop comparing yourself. Stop competing with people, right, that are focused on their own tasks. You are not going the same place. You are not having the same resources, you don't have the same background, you don't have the same anything. So the time you have spent working on yourself, working on your own tasks, if you spend it watching and comparing or competing with somebody else, at the end of the day, your mind is like a robot that has been programmed to ask you questions. If you don't get anything from this class, I want you to note this. Your mind is like a robot that has been programmed to come and ask you questions for tasks that you have been given. An instance is your daily routine. Have you noticed that on days where you go out without having a plan, right? So you went out without a plan, no plan, no goal, no to-do list, and you just move to and fro like there's something missing in your village and they've sent you to go and look for it. Have you noticed that your mind comes at the end of the day to ask you questions? Your mind comes to ask you stuff like, what did you achieve today? Why did you follow Kasali to go and buy bag when you had assignments to do? Why were you busy watching YouTube videos, skits, when you were supposed to create content for your Instagram page? Have you noticed that this is what your mind does at around 8:39 to 10, that time when you are about to sleep? The mind is programmed to do that. So every time you spend doing the things that don't profit you, that don't push you into the place, right? That don't, every time you spend doing things, right, that don't matter, things that are not supposed to take you or push you into vision or purpose, your mind will come back and ask you, and doubt would step in. What I'm trying to tell you is every single time you are watching your friend progress, instead of spending time doing the things that you're supposed to do, right? Instead of working on your own tasks, your mind will come back and ask you questions and doubt will step in. So the fourth reason why people doubt themselves is they compare themselves, they compete with others. Now, the fifth thing why people doubt themselves is they focus on the things they don't know instead of what they do. Like I said, there will always be three people in life. There will always be somebody that you're better than. Help that person. Comparing yourself, competing, leads to doubt. Focusing on the things that you cannot do or the resources you don't have would lead to doubt eventually. What I'm trying to tell you is there are people that you're better than. There are resources that you have currently, right? Forget about the things you don't have, right? Forget about the things you don't have. Now, I'm going to tell you three things. The first one, I've already said it, but I'm going to expand on it. The first one is always group people into threes. So have group A, group B, and group C. Group A is are people that you are better than. Group B are people that are on the same level with you. While group C are people that are better than you. You see that group A, call them people that are in stage one. You see group B, where you belong, call them your peers. That's people that are with you in stage 5. Now, the people that are better than you, I want you to put them in stage 10. Now, I want you to focus on the things that you can do instead of the things that you don't have or the things that you cannot do. So, I want you to focus on the people that you can help rather than focus on the people that are on the same level with you or people that are better than you. Every time you look at the people that are on the same level with you or the people that are better than you, doubt will step in. But every time you look down, you are looking at somebody that you can help come up. Does this make sense to you? What I'm trying to tell you is part of the reason why you doubt yourself is because you keep looking at your peers, You keep looking at people that are in front of you rather than looking at people that are behind you. For once, look at the people that are in stage 1, right? And see how you can help them go from stage 1, right, to stage 5. How you can bring them from stage 1 to stage 5 where you are. That way, you have something to offer. Because doubt is uncertainty. Doubt is that feeling that you get when you're uncertain. Oh, how do I go about this? How do I make this money? How do I help these people? Right? How do I start this business? No, don't look at it from stage 5. Look at it from stage 1. Does this make sense to you? So every single time you focus on the things that you cannot do, the things that you don't have, you are definitely going to invite doubt. So focus on the things that you can do. Focus on the things that you have. I want to be a software engineer. Focus on the things that you have. What do I have at hand? That is the second thing I want to tell you. There are 3 levels. There are always 3 stages to things, right? And I want you to divide these things. We're going to build up on this next week, right? Stage 1, things I can do for or by myself. Stage 2, things that I definitely need somebody to do for me. Stage 3, things that I'll definitely need money or resources to get. Now, I want you to always focus on stage 1. The same way you're focusing on people that you're better than, right? Skills that you're good at. Does this make sense? So always focus on what you have. Now, I also want you to focus on the things that you can do by yourself. This is how to build a business. This is how to go from 0 to 1. So now, right? I want you to focus. So people, like we said, people, they focus on the things they don't know instead of what they can do. So stop looking at your peers. Stop looking at people that are ahead of you, right? Look at the people that you can help go from stage 1, like you can bring from stage 1 to stage 5 where you are. Stop focusing on the skills that you don't have. Focus on the skills that you have that can push you from stage 1 to stage 5. Stop focusing on the materials that you cannot get. Now, a friend of mine wanted to learn how to create 3D animations and he didn't have a laptop. You know the funny part? They bounced them back when they went to the place where they were supposed to learn this 3D animation, right? They told them they weren't going to accept them except they have a laptop. Guess what? They accepted. Now, 3 of them went to Lagos. The 3 of them were accepted because they knew how to draw. Now, they rejected other people because they didn't have a system. But look, when you see value, when you see somebody that is going somewhere, you cannot neglect this person. They accepted these guys because they could draw. They fell in love with one of them because he could create animations with his phone, with his mobile phone. So this is something you need an Alienware for. But they are accepting somebody that can do stuff with his phone. Why? Because he didn't focus on what he didn't have. He focused on what he had and created stuff with what he had. So stop focusing on the things. If you want to stop doubting yourself, stop focusing on the things that you don't have, the things that you can't do, the things that. So stop. Remove the pressure from yourself. Remove the pressure from yourself. So I had this friend that was trying to sell out a class. He put out the price for $500, right? He was trying to sell something for 500 and only one person bought. And it was like, what have I done wrong? Bro, what if you take off the pressure? What if you don't pressure yourself? So remove the pressure from yourself. Remove the pressure from yourself. You are not wrong. You are not bad. You are not at disadvantage. You are not You're not the most useless person in the world. No. Why not focus on your strengths? Right? Now, I told him to stop thinking about himself. So he started feeling, oh, are you sure? Are you sure I'm good enough? Are you sure I can do this? Are you sure? I said, forget about all of these things you're thinking about. What can you do now? What can you show? So, doubt from outside and even from yourself is because there's nothing to show. There's nothing your brain can see. Like I said, you can deceive your mind. Your mind, your head creates pictures. Your mind creates doubts because it doesn't have evidence. So it automatically means you can go against it. So when your mind is telling you that you can't, you can play the game to tell your mind that I can't, because your mind does not know what is real. Your mind, that's why when they tell you that positive thinking is simply telling you that you should start talking to your mind, start telling your mind that I can do all things. I can. That means that your mind can be deceived. The same way your mind is painting pictures and showing you only negative things, you can paint a picture that focuses on only good things and deceive your mind. Eventually, it will catch up. I don't know if this makes sense to you. So, focus on the things you know how to do instead of the things you don't know how to do. So, I would say that what you currently have is enough to start. It's easier to start from your comfort zone. Like my friend, they started sketching. They knew that they needed a laptop, but they didn't wait. They didn't stay in that doubt till they got a laptop. No, they started nevertheless. They started by sketching. And one of them have a system today. In fact, when we went for our IT defense, that was the only person, the guy that started this designing with his phone was the only person that they did not complain about. Why? He started with what he had. Start with what you have. Now, I put up some things that I think, are you getting value from this? If this is making sense, I want you to tell me in the comment section, are you getting value from this? Is this making sense? Now, here are some things I want you to know. You are not alone. Before I used to think that the super successful people never have doubts, but it's a lie. They doubt themselves too. They doubt themselves too. I was one of my boss, right? He was writing his PhD exams. This guy makes nothing. This guy makes, in fact, 100 times. He makes 10. Let's not exaggerate. He makes 10 times what I make, and his money comes to him easier. And I was talking to him. He's always up and running. There's when he calls for meetings like this, he's always fire for fire. Do you understand? And he called me to his office one day. And while I was in his office, we were talking about something entirely different. He wanted to give me a job. So we talked about the job. We spent about 4 hours talking about the job that he wanted me to do for him. And when we're done with all of that, in the middle of the talk, he now told me that, Tim, do you have somewhere that can do this thing for me? And I was like, yeah, I have. And I was like, this thing is so frustrating. Then he started talking. And it dawned on me that this doubt thing does not look at your bank account. Doubt does not look at your ex. This guy has a PhD. Doubt doesn't look at your certificate. Every single person always doubts themselves, even down to Dangote. I wrote here about Joseph Duplantis. I was listening to one Joseph Duplantis' message, and he said something. He said that every time he wants to make an investment, right, he always goes back to prayer. And I was like, why do you have to pray if you are not scared? why must you pray if you're not scared? And then it dawned on me that everybody is scared. Everybody gets doubt. So you're not alone. You're not the first to be scared. You're not the first to doubt yourself, right? You are not the first. So even the richest are scared. This man once said that he doesn't invest in anything until he spends time praying to hear God say, do it. That's to tell you that every single person, even Dangote, is scared. Just that our fears are in categories, and you have to train yourself. There are some things that will happen to you right now. Have you noticed that there are some things that will happen to you right now? You don't blink. Like, you've gotten so used to it that you don't get to blink. There are some lecturers that will tell you, I'll fail you. Or there's some lecturers that will tell you, there's test. And you'll be like, I beg, I'm not going. But there are some lecturers that will tell you, there's test. You'll be in school 2 hours before the time. It's because over time, you've gotten used to this person. You've gotten used to the pressure from this person. That's how life is. You have to train yourself to live above your doubts, right? So another thing I want you to understand is doubting yourself doesn't mean you are weak. Doubting yourself doesn't mean you are weak. Like I said, you're not alone. Doubting yourself doesn't mean you are weak, right? It doesn't mean you are weak. Now, finally, right? Finally, how to overcome doubt. The first thing I want you to do, right? Are you with me? How to overcome doubt. Number one, do the opposite of what your mind is doing. Create evidence. Now, your mind is like a robot. I want you to remember this thing. Your mind is like a robot that has been put in place to checkmate you. That's why it always comes to ask you questions. Now, if you give it the answers it wants, even if it is a lie, it will believe you. That's why you will see that sometimes you are going through stuff, but you go and watch Netflix. You know, they tell you that it's temporal. It's not true. If your mind has the ability to choke you, you won't watch Netflix. Oh. You won't watch Netflix. You don't. How will you won't watch Netflix? It's because the mind can be deceived. The mind can be told, sit down. The mind can be told, be at peace. The mind can be told, don't disturb me. The mind can be told, relax. That's why you can be under pressure and be watching Netflix. That's to tell you that when in doubt, you can tell your mind to sit down and not disturb you. So when the mind comes and it's not its fault, like I said, it's the robot that has been put in place to checkmate you. So when in doubt, when in trouble, don't be quick to listen to what your head is saying, because your head is just talking without evidence. Your head is just painting pictures that are not real. Your head is just telling you that you are the actor that will die in your own movie. Whereas we both know that there's no way, no matter how they twist the story, John Wick cannot die in the John Wick story. You are the John Wick in the story of your life. And it is your dog, right? Your dog, right? Is that your vision, that's your idea that cannot be killed? Because if anybody touches it, they will see your true color. So when your mind starts painting pictures of you as the weakling, of you as the idiot, of you as the failure, you have to stand up and tell it, no, I'm the John Wick in my story. Do you understand? So do the opposite of what your mind is doing. Your mind is going to come and tell you that you're not good enough. But remind your mind that there was a time that we were in this kind of thing. This was how we scaled. Remind your mind that there was a time that we were broke. Because it is you and your mind at the end of the day. You can't separate. So tell your mind that it is we. And life happens to you in patterns. There's nothing that's happening to you now that has not happened to you before. True of us. There's nothing that's happening to you now that's not happened to you before. Every single thing that is happening to you now has happened to you before. So you always have evidence. So use those evidence to tackle your mind. So when your mind comes to tell you, they told you to do this thing. So let's say you're in a class, a drawing class, and they say, draw everything you're seeing. And your mind tells you, how are you going to draw this thing? Tell your mind that there was a time. So come from your strength. Remind your mind that there was a time that you wanted to design a UI UX, that the client gave you the brief and you didn't know how to go about it. But when you were done, the client said, this is the best design job I've ever received. Remind your mind, because drawing or doing stuff, right? The success that we get from doing stuff does not start by putting pencil to paper. It starts from that same mind that is trying to put you down. So if you can push it to that place where you show it proof and evidence that no, we've been here before and we skate through, your mind will say, yes, sir, and it will align. Once it aligns, you will see that the human beings, the trees, and everything they've told you to draw as circles, shape, your eyes will be open. Does this make sense to you? So create the opposite. Do the opposite of what your mind is doing. When your mind is telling you you can't do it, create evidence. When your mind is telling you you can't make 100,000, even if you've not made 100,000 before, remember what I just said. Your mind is painting a picture of the future and putting you as and making you look like the needy. Your mind is painting a picture of your own future and making you look like the weakling, but you will not agree. You are the John Wick of your story. You are, my friend, you are the John Wick of your story. So when your mind comes to tell you you can't make 100,000, even if you've never made 100,000 before, remind your mind that you have made 10,000 naira before. And how do you make 100,000 naira? With the same strategy you used to make 10,000 naira. It's very simple. If you're selling a product and 5 people bought that product, right, for 225 and you made, right, 10,000, it automatically means that you only need to scale it. You only need to scale it. I say scale. You only need to scale it. Right? So if 5 people bought your offer, 2,500 naira, and you made 10,000 naira, it means you either need to get. Now, let me show you how easy it is. So you have an offer that is 2,500 naira, and 5 people bought, and you make 10,000 naira. If you want to make 100,000 naira, it means you need only 40 people. Only 40 people to buy that your 2,500 naira product to make 100,000 naira. How many people are in Nigeria again? So when you allow your mind play that, puts you at that place where you are disadvantaged, you would not be able to think. It's the same thing if you want to make a million naira, friend. It is division. So play the opposite. The second thing I want to tell you is take massive action. Grant Cardone is always an action man. Listen, even if your mind tells you you cannot jump, right? If you start jumping from today with the mind, one day you skate through. Am I telling you all of these things will be easy? No. But remember that your little cousin that they gave birth to in front of you, that still creeping, still walking, did not do all of that in one day. Right? That's why I love iron so much. I was there when iron started creeping. I was there when iron started standing. I was there when iron started talking. And that's how I understand that because he continued taking action. I remember one day when he fell and I was rushing to go and carry him. And his dad said, leave him. Let him stand. That was to tell me that if you keep carrying this boy, he will never stand. I was there one day and somebody was saying that a cousin, right, had a baby that she was always carrying up and down, and she was worried that her baby had not started walking. Then she got an idea to not go out for 2 weeks, and in less than 4 days, the baby started walking. Why? That's why you are doubting action and have it at the back of your mind. It's like that little baby that fell down and stood up again. That's how you are, right? You have to calculate your life in ideas. I was talking to someone and I told so person is 17 and is making 1 million naira a month with affiliate marketing, and you are 26. You're not making shishi with affiliate marketing. Have you ever asked yourself, when did you start this affiliate market? 15 or 15? Some of them started when they were 15. So 15, 16, 17. So it took him 3 years. So stop looking at the age. Stop looking at his age. Look at the time frame. So it took him 3 years to start making 1 million every month. That means that you are 26, but you have not given your own 3 years. Does this make sense? So take massive action and be ready to fail. Number three, how to overcome doubt. Beginnings, right? Look at how far you've come. And this is not in age. This is in, like, imagine that you're in 400 level in the university and you want to drop out. Like, just think about it. Or imagine having a child. This will not be you in the name of Jesus. But imagine having a child that is in 400 level, right? Second semester or first semester, and the person tells you he wants to drop out. And you ask him why, and he says he's not feeling it. What would be your advice? Listen, you have to remember where you are coming from. You've come a long way. Even with your doubts, see how much you have achieved in your doubts. There are some of you that don't run ads. There are some of you that that don't have good copywriting skills, but you are making money. Imagine what will happen if you start running ads. Imagine what will happen if you start running that business. Imagine what will happen if you stop doubting yourself. Look, you have to see how far you've come with all of these your doubts. With all your doubts, see how much you have achieved. Imagine how much more you can achieve when you stop doubting. Number five, quit daydreaming and creating false images of hope. Sometimes we lie down on our bed, and this happens to people that love Sponzy a lot. If I put my money here, it will 10x in 2 days. Bro, you have to stop daydreaming. Doubt steps in when we continue daydreaming. Of course, of course, it's good to dream big, but when you dream of things that are impossible, you'd never achieve them, and it will create more room for doubt. Make sense? Number five, have a whatever happens. So have a whatever happens, I will learn and grow mindset. So no matter what happens, lose or win, I always win. Every single thing that has happened to you in this life, if you notice, no matter how bad it is, no matter how frustrated you were, you always had a win. Story that you get to tell somebody so that he or she doesn't fall into the same trap that you fell. That's win enough because you have helped another person go faster. So always have a I will learn, right? I will grow mindset no matter what happens. I hope this was a wonderful. I hope you learned a lot from this, right? So we'll continue next week, and it's to get you to that place where you'll be able to. The end goal of all of this is to get you to that place where you'll be able to boast of having a business, right, that is running without you ever thinking of it failing. I hope you got value from this, right? If you learned anything from this, drop drop a comment, right? Tell me what you learned on Twitter, on Instagram. So I'd like you to do something for me on Twitter, on Instagram. I'd like you to just write what you learned, right? What it is that I said that struck you, right? And just write at Timothy Esanju and hashtag CYD. I hope this was a what this was. I hope this was worth it. I'm happy you guys came online. Thanks to everyone that was here. Special thanks to Pastor Kings. I really appreciate. And I'll see you guys on WhatsApp and next week Friday. So drop comments, whatever it is that you learned. And if you have any question, yes, let's do a question and answer section. If you have any questions, I want you to drop it in the comment section. So let's do some question and answers in 15 minutes. So if you have any question, anything I said, just drop it. So if you have any question, drop it. So go on Twitter, go on Instagram. I want you to type what you learned and then tag me and use the hashtag CYD. Hashtag CYD. While we wait for questions, if you have any questions, drop them. If you have any questions, I'd like you to drop them now. If you don't, then I'll see you on WhatsApp. So don't forget, whatever it is that you learned, hashtag CYD, tag me. I'm going to repost, I'm going to like, I'm going to comment, right? Thank you guys very much for staying on. I'll see you next week. Questions. So, questions. Do you have any question? If you don't have any question, or if you have any question, I'll drop a link to the WhatsApp group so you can join. So if you have any question, just drop it on the WhatsApp group. If you have any question, just drop it on the WhatsApp group. I'll also make the link to this video available to everyone. So if you have any question, drop it in the comment section. Anytime I see it, I'm going to respond to as many as possible. Thank you guys very much for joining. Clear that is not just a motivational platform. We're going to do motivation, we're going to push you, and we're going to show you how to start businesses, run your ideas, right? one of the classes that I look forward to is a class with David White. I'd like him to come share his story of how he worked as a janitor for 7 years and built a business that currently makes him 6 to 7 figures monthly, right? So this is going to help those that are working 9 to 5, right? Those working in the banks, working in the marketing, working for people, those working in the banks, working in offices as secretary or whatever it is, right? This is going to help them know how they can start their side hustle while retaining that money, because money is important. It's always important that money comes to you every month, every day, every single time. So I'll see you guys next week Friday. Bye bye.